up in the sky. Look, it's captivating. It's energizing. It's Eliances Heroes. Eliances is the destination for entrepreneurs, investors, CEOs, inventors, leaders, celebrities, and startups, where our heroes in business align. Now, here's your host flying in, David Kogan, founder of Eliances.
I've got to be living in a dream right now because we have the most incredible lineup today. I'm going to tell you later on in the show, we've got Sheryl Crow, the Grammy Award-winning musician, and later on, Dave Grimm from DirectSourceWealth.com/hero, who's going to share the secrets of how to have more time freedom. But let's get started with our first hero. Imagine if you had the word fool as part of your business. Imagine that. And now, more than ever, everybody who knows anything in regards to investing, stocks, anything that may be in the financial market, knows our next hero and knows his website, because his website is fool.com. Who's that? Dave Gardner, the co-founder of Motley Fool and also board member for Conscious Capitalism. So with that, Dave, welcome to the show. What in the world inspired you to start a company with the word fool in it?
Well, thank you very much, David. And as somebody who studied English, I'm a humanities person, so in college it was very natural for me to enjoy Shakespeare. And my favorite part of Shakespeare, really still to this day at the age of 52, are the comedic plays that Shakespeare wrote, especially ones that have fools in them, the court jesters, the ones who can tell the king or queen the truth, the only members of the court really back in Elizabethan times, the Renaissance. The fools could tell the emperor if he had no clothes. And how would they do it? Well, they would do it by using humor. And so I've always loved that construct. And so when it came time to start, as it turns out, a newsletter for our parents' friends, which is how the Motley Fool started out, a stock-picking newsletter for our parents' friends, the only ones who would pay us $48 a year for our advice, they felt sorry for us, but it felt fun, a fun thing to do to call it the Motley Fool.
But how did you become so knowledgeable to know what to be put in the newsletter that people would be interested in? Why does, and everyone continues to look at you guys as the experts?
Well, it started just with a willingness to try because we'd had a dad who taught us about the stock market as kids. So even though I'm playing myself up as an English major graduating from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill some years ago, the truth is that I always loved the stock market because our dad made it real for us. He would take us into a Safeway right in Washington, D.C., right near where we lived. He'd say, hey, kids, look, chocolate pudding. We own some of the company that makes that chocolate pudding. That's because we own some shares in the company that made that chocolate pudding. And then he'd say, let's go get more chocolate pudding. So it made it a lot of fun to have a dad who would make it real and show us the fun of investing and that we could all be part owners of companies like Netflix and Facebook, and the list goes on. And so that was natural for us. So the first answer, really quickly, David, was just that we had that background and that culture within our family. And then the second answer is I've learned by trial and error over the last 25 years of picking stocks on our website right out in front of the world.
Do you ever look back now from those early days to now and just sit back and go, I can't believe that everyone knows Fool.com?
Well, first of all, I truly do wish everybody did know Fool.com. So I'm the first to say that we're a small company with a big heart and a big dream. The purpose of the Motley Fool is to help the world invest better, to make this world smarter, happier, and richer. And so that's something that is a big idea and a big mission. And the truth is that we started before companies like Google and some other companies that have gotten pretty big, Facebook, in the meantime. So I sort of feel like we've done a great job over 25 years, but we've also seen really how small we are compared to some of the internet giants that we would love to be one day.
Well, you definitely will be. I grew up going to your website and hearing so much about it. Now, also, too, which is so cool, you take such good care of your companies because Glassdoor has named your company the best medium company to work for twice. How's that the case?
Well, I believe it's because we started, first of all, the only people we could hire when we started the Motley Fool, we didn't have any venture capital, were our friends from college. So when you start with your friends from college, you're not going to say the following things to them. Hey, man, you got to be here at 9. You got to stay here through to 5 p.m. By the way, you only have 10 vacation days a year. That's your first year. You might one day get an 11th. So you don't talk that way to the people that you work with, that you hire when they're your college friends. So we started that way, and then it's 25 years later, it's that same culture of trust, of believing in the people that we're hiring, of really emphasizing that when you come to work at the Motley Fool, we're trying to make the best you, Like if you have a bigger dream, you started one way, you want to work somewhere else in the company, we try to make that possible. And then I think especially when employees at any organization, for-profit, not-for-profit, when they feel deeply the purpose of that organization and they see that purpose inside themselves. So people who come here to work at the Fool presumably think that it would be great to cause the rest of the world to become smarter, happier, and richer as a consequence of whatever you do on a daily basis here at the Fool. That, and the last thing I'll say is, we keep it fun. I mean, we are the Motley Fool, right? So it would have to be fun to be here and to work here. Otherwise, that's really weird if your name in the financial industry is the Motley Fool and it's not fun.
I love it, love it, love it. You're listening to me, David Kogan, host of the Eliances Hero Show. Make sure you go to Eliances.com. That's Eliances.com. The only place where entrepreneurs align, because we have Dave Gardner, the co-founder of Motley Fool. You can reach him at Fool.com. He's also a board member with Conscious Capitalism. In fact, why did you get involved with Conscious Capitalism?
Well, I first met John Mackey, who's really credited by many as being the founder of Conscious Capitalism, along with a few others. He wrote a great book called Conscious Capitalism, and if anybody's not read that book, I would recommend it to you. But we first met him. He was the founder of Whole Foods, and Whole Foods was one of our stock picks. So we invited him when he was coming through Washington, D.C. one day to just drop by Fool HQ and speak to our employees, and he spoke very eloquently. And we really connected well with him. He said, "Hey, guys, you should come to my conference that I have once a year." He said that to my brother Tom, my co-founder, and our CEO today, Tom Gardner, and me, David Gardner. And we were like, great, let's go to your conference. And that was the first time we'd been to the Conscious Capitalism Conference, and that was 8 or 9 years ago. So play it forward 8 or 9 years later. John Mackey's on our board here at the Motley Fool, so he's been a wonderful contributor to us. And we're just trying to pay it back by joining the board, which I've done recently, of his organization, Conscious Capitalism Institute, a not-for-profit that just is there to show how business truly does elevate humanity. It's probably the greatest force to elevate humanity, and it's such a good thing when practiced well.
Dave, what's the secrets to creating wealth through the market utilizing Fool.com? And also, too, do you guys have a type of fund or anything like that where someone could just say, here's money, and away we go?
So those are three really great questions. So I think if there are secrets, they come down to doing what most people aren't doing. So most people are not thinking and acting long-term when it comes to the stock market. There are a lot of people jumping in and out, day traders. Even Wall Street is trading in and out. The average mutual fund that's a managed fund today that has a human being making choices turns over its entire portfolio 70 to 100% in 1 year. In other words, the stocks they start with on January 1st, they don't still own by December 31st. And that's the professionals. So how do you and I win? We play a different game. We buy companies to hold them for years. And so the reason that we've beaten up on the markets and the people who've joined Motley Fool Stock Advisor and other Motley Fool services, if they've stuck with us over the years through thick and through thin, they've made a lot of money and beaten the market because they found great companies, some of them conscious capitalism companies, and they've said, I'm going to be a lifetime owner of this, which is totally the different game being played by the rest of the world. So I think that's maybe my best shot at answering if there's any secret to what we're doing, how to make that work.
We've got a little less than a minute left, Dave, but I need to ask you, because you're a father, so am I. And what do you hope are what can you share really, the top 1 to 3 secrets that your children have picked up from you about how to be successful, not just in the stock market, but I watch your videos. Again, I grew up. You're a happy guy. You're very successful. What secrets would you like them to pick up from you?
Well, so first of all, optimism. So I'm a big believer in the Henry Ford line, whether you think you can or whether you think you cannot, you're right. I believe that's true. So people who think they can-do people in this world are really the people, the entrepreneurs who create things that are of great value to other people. I'm so grateful for the entrepreneurs like Jeff Bezos at Amazon or Reed Hastings at Netflix. I enjoy their products and their services every single day. They have deeply enriched my life, and they've also enriched my life as a shareholder and people who followed our advice. So I say to my kids, whether you think you can or whether you think you cannot, you're right. And then the one other thing I'd say for parents is we have to understand every child's different, and we're trying to help them become the best version of themselves. We're not trying to duplicate ourselves. Sometimes they can be radically different from us, but we need to do our best to listen in, learn, and figure out who they are trying to be. And then if it's a good thing, which I sure hope it is, we should be helping them as much as we can.
Well, Dave, you think you can. You definitely have done. You're on a mission to help the world invest better. We believe in helping the world work better. That's a hero. Dave Gardner, Motley Fool. Go to Fool.com And thank you to Conscious Capitalism for nominating Dave Gardner of Motley Fool to be on the Eliances Hero Show. Conscious Capitalism. Go to consciouscapitalism.org. David Kogan, and next coming up, Sheryl Crow.